We have a third co-host today. It's the pimple on my nose. But other than that,
Dude, I thought I had the worst acne. Not acne, but just one massive zit. You could barely see it on YouTube.
You can barely see it. It's an audio product. We're an audio product. 3, 2. This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It's Thursday, the new Friday, September 8th, and today's pod, it's just Jack. It's the best one yet.
What a fantastic T-boy on deck.
This is the strawberry Pop-Tart of podcast episodes we've ever done.
Expiration date for never.
Jack, what's the first story for today's T-boy?
Apple just held its annual event to unveil the iPhone 14.
Yetis, here is the only thing that mattered. Apple Watch wants to save your life.
For our second story, quiet quitting is the latest buzzword to describe what the heck is happening with workers.
But here's the funny thing. Quiet quitting isn't a new thing. It's actually an old thing, but it's just a new word for a really old thing.
For our third and final story, Instacart unveiled their newest feature to drive your grocery shopping. It's called
This is wild.
Celebrity Shopping Carts.
Jack, I'll have what Lizzo's have.
Spoiler alert, I'm having the juice.
We're having the juice.
But Yetis, before we hit that wonderful mix.
Wonderful. Fantastic. I love this mix, man. Great mix.
Do you hear that?
Are you hearing what I'm hearing, Jack? I believe that is every dad's theme song.
Because the NFL season kicks off tonight.
Besties, get out the guac and recline into that lazy boy.
Toss a 7th layer onto that cheese dip, Nick.
Yeah, go crazy. Treat yourself to an 8th. Make it the beans.
Yetis, this is like the pumpkin spice latte season, but for sports.
Yeah, the first game of football this year, Jack, who's the kickoff?
The Los Angeles Rams versus the Buffalo Chicken Wing Bills.
Yeah, everyone in Buffalo is going to be watching.
Everyone in Los Angeles is going to be at the beach.
No one at Los Angeles is aware they still have a football team.
Now, Yetis, we know you've got your fantasy team in order.
Unless your auto draft snagged you 2 backup quarterbacks and 3 backup defenses. I don't know why it did that.
But to watch non-fantasy football, you're going to have to pay up.
Oh, get out the Amex card. Get these numbers.
The average cost to take a family of 4 to a real live NFL game this year?
You're scaring me.
$536.77.
Sit down, stand up, and sit back down in that lazy boy, Jack.
Roughing the accountant on everybody.
Jack, that's not a game. That's an investment.
$15,000 penalty. Repeat 4th down.
So, Jack, what's the takeaway for all our buddies watching the kickoff tonight?
Let's hope your parents' Comcast login still works so that us cord cutters can watch for free.
Let's sack our 3 stories.
15 years before this song, 2 boys from the Northeast met in the dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is the norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. T-Boy City on your list. If you know, you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, Apple just unveiled iPhone 14 at its huge, epic new product palooza event thingy.
But it all came down to one thing. Real reality beats virtual reality.
Okay, no harm, no foul. They didn't invite us, so Jack and I had to watch online again. Again.
You know where to reach us, Timmy.
Not our buddy Timmy.
But they called the event Far Out, like the pizza delivery guy from Stranger Things 4.
Perfect timing, early September. Christmas shopping is honestly right around the corner, so they unveiled iPhone 14.
If you liked the iPhone 1 through 13, you're going to love the 14th version.
Because remember, Apple's iPhones, they are still half of Apple's revenues. That is key. So they got to keep feeding that profit puppy.
Oh, yeah. But they also served up some AirPod Pros for us.
Okay, what do we got going on with the AirPod Pros?
There's a built-in volume bar, so you can swipe down the volume without fumbling out your phone when someone tries to talk to you.
Like if Jack and I get too loud on a takeaway, it's a lot easier to turn down the volume on us.
Exactly. But the real hero story wasn't in your pocket, and it wasn't in your ears either. It's on your wrist.
Yetis, if you took only one thing out of the 4-hour presentation Jack and I watched for you, it is this.
Apple Watch will save your life.
Oh my God, the folks over at Apple jacked up the Apple Watch with more sensors than a Soviet nuclear sub.
Half of the event was videos of people whose lives have been saved thanks to the Apple Watch and its new features.
Okay, Apple Watch 8, for example, has a G-force accelerometer. Jack, what is that?
The G-force accelerometer will notice if your watch goes from moving like 40 miles per hour to 0.
Whew.
It'll say that must have been a car accident. We're going to call 911 for you.
Oh, and that's not the only tracker. There's also a retrospective ovulation tracker.
This watch's sensors can sense the slightest change in a woman's temperature, so you don't need a thermometer evermore.
And there's even more trackers. There's even a backtrack tracker, which is a new type of tracker.
I thought it was a back scratcher at first, but it's not.
I understand.
It'll retrace your steps so that if you get lost in the woods,
Yeah.
it'll tell you exactly how to get back to the car.
Yeah, which happens to all of us. Now, that's not the only watch. Apple also unveiled the Apple Watch Ultra, an $800 watch.
It has a built-in siren that is hearable 600 feet away. It's the closest thing to a flare.
It's like a flare, but for your ears.
And with no fire.
Yetis, add all this up. It's like Apple went full Red Cross on us.
Tim Cook thinks he's Sanjay Gupta.
CEO Tim Cook. Actually, it's Dr. Tim Cook.
Apple Watch spent the last 7 years in medical school and just took the Hippocratic Oath.
Jack, they are 2 updates away from delivering a baby.
Yeti's iPhone also added a life-saving feature too called Satellite Emergency SOS.
So, Jack, how does this one work?
Let's say you walk into no man's land with no service, but you broke your leg. You can text for help.
You can now text for help. Even when you have no service, the app finds a satellite for you.
You point the phone to the satellite and it sends out an emergency SOS.
Save me, Apple Watch Kenobi. You're my only hope. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for all our buddies over at Apple?
While tech is focused on virtual reality, Apple is focused on real reality.
Okay, besties. Zuck, he's doing virtual reality headsets. Snapchat, they're doing augmented reality glasses. And Google is doing robo glasses.
Apple's wearables, they're not about future this, hologram that, virtual world, everything. They're about living right now.
Meta's wearable? Yeah, that'll take you to a different world.
Apple's wearable, it's going to enhance you in this world.
For our second story, quiet quitting. Quiet quitting is getting all this press right now, but is quiet quitting real or fake?
The data shows that half of American workers are quietly quitting.
Wow.
But it's not what you think.
Yetis, while you were home over Labor Day, we know what the number one question concerned parents were asking you.
Son, are you quietly quitting?
It's not drugs, not drinking, but if you're quietly quitting, you can tell your mother and I.
This is a safe space.
Yetis, quiet quitting is getting more press these days than Harry Styles spitting on that other actor.
The New York Times wrote about it. Wall Street Journal, Axios.
Google searches, we jumped in T-Boy style. The term quiet quitting is getting searched for 100 times more than it was last month.
Videos are going viral on TikTok of people who are quietly
We
quitting.
know what you're thinking. What is the dictionary Webster definition of quiet quitting? Jack, can you whip it up for us?
It's not when employees quit.
No.
It's when employees don't quit, but don't excel either.
Quiet quitting is the art of doing the bare minimum. All you care about is just getting that paycheck.
You show up from 9 to 5, but you never go the extra mile because you just don't care about your job.
Taking 4 coffee breaks and at 3 p.m. you're getting your nails done.
You do just enough to not get fired,
Right.
but you're not trying to be the employee of the month either.
You're not going to get that plaque. And you know what? Hey, it's cool.
You're settling. You're not doing much. It's just a job.
But here's the news. According to a major Gallup poll, half of American workers are not engaged with their current job.
Gallup asked 15,000 U.S. workers, and half are quietly quitting.
Now, we should sprinkle on some context here because this is going to make that all the more shocking.
The same poll showed that 2 years ago in 2020, worker engagement was higher than ever.
That was back in the era of like startup culture, girl boss, more caffeine, Adam Newman, massa, hustle harder.
But now half of workers are not engaged, which is kind of the definition of quietly quitting.
Now, besties, we know what you're thinking. There's an elephant in the room.
This has got to be a work from home thing, right?
Yeah, the elephant in the room is honestly the work from home thing.
Yeah, we're currently in a confusing mix of work from home, return to work sometimes, a mix of both, like out of office Mondays, video conferences with VP Carl on Tuesdays.
Yeah, the lack of clarity and being told what to do, it is probably part of the cause of this disengagement, quiet quitting.
It probably is. But Gallup Gallup is simply blaming the managers.
Yeah, they are. They're saying too many bosses are failing to inspire, failing to motivate employees, whether it's on Zoom or in the office.
Middle manager Mark needs to work on his pep talks
Yes.
and celebrate the wins among the team more.
But Yetis, Jack and I were looking at this story and we thought, you know what? Something about this concept isn't sitting right. All the attention quiet quitting is getting, we were concerned. So Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies who are probably quiet quitting?
Quiet quitting isn't a new thing. It's just a new term to describe an old thing.
Okay, besties, Jack and I jumped in T-Boy style to that same Gallup data, and we looked at the number of engaged workers.
Yes, there has been a huge drop in the number of engaged workers in the past couple years, but we're actually back to the same level we were at in 2015.
Okay, so we've seen a sudden surge in disengagement, but it's just back to where we were 7 years ago.
So don't blame millennials and Gen Z. Workers are quietly quitting just like they've always quietly quit.
In fact, get this. Back in 2008, when Jack and I were in college, 75% of workers were disengaged.
That is way more disengagement, way more quiet quitting than we have right now.
And in the past, back then, quiet quitting was just called something else.
It was called coasting.
It was just coasting.
It was called slacking on the job.
Over in China, they even have a different term for it. They call it lying flat.
Quiet quitting isn't a new thing. It's just a new term for something that's always existed.
So Yetis, if your boss freaks out about quiet quitting and blames Gen Z and millennials, just say this.
There were way more coasters 10 years ago than there are quiet quitters today.
And then quit.
Now, a word about our sponsor, Robinhood.
You know, honestly, your salad, it says so much about you.
Nick, you like to blaze your own trail at the salad bar.
Yeah, I'm ordering a salad. I go off menu, man. Like a combo of kale and croutons that has never been made before.
Me? I'm not reinventing the wheel. I like to go classic.
Like if Sweet Green thinks it's a good combo, Jack's not going to change that.
Kind of like investing strategies. Some want to build a custom portfolio of stocks, crypto, and options.
Others don't want to reinvent. Just give me the most standard ETF.
Whether you're tweaking your one-of-a-kind portfolio every day or prefer a more hands-off approach, Robinhood has the tools.
If you're not investing on Robinhood yet, to get started, go to Robinhood.com/T-Boy to choose your free stock.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY. Limitations apply.
Stocks offered by Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC.
Crypto offered through Robinhood Crypto.
All investments involve risk.
By the way, this podcast is not owned or part of Robinhood, and we are not employees of Robinhood.
For our third and final story, before Instacart can go public, it has to go beyond grocery delivery.
So Instacart just hired Lizzo.
Yeah.
To show that Instacart does more.
But before we jump into this, Jack, we should have done this birthday shout out at the end of the pod, but we'll do it now. Happy 10th birthday to our buddies over at Instacart.
Instacart just turned 10. But you know what? It can retire because it's life work. It's achieved at 10 years old.
Get this, Yetis. Instacart also announced on its 10th birthday that a whopping 80% of America's grocery stores are signed up for Instacart delivery.
4 out of 5 Americans. You didn't need to go to the physical grocery store. You could have just opened the Instacart app instead.
Okay, send an Instacarter and they'll pick up and deliver your maple almond butter and whipped cream. Boom, done. 80% of grocery stores.
Instacart's founding goal was to make grocery delivery convenient.
Check, done. Convenience finished.
Turns out, though, that was only phase 1. Now Instacart faces phase 2, which is discovery.
Discovery of phase 2, that's a different beast.
If Instacart wants to eventually IPO, it must grow beyond basic grocery delivery runs.
And besties, right now, you face a problem that Instacart is scared of, and that problem is grocery anxiety.
You don't want to mix it up. So you just reorder the same batch of groceries every time.
Again and again and again. So to cure your grocery anxiety and to drive discovery of what Instacart is capable of, they've hired some celebrities.
In June, Instacart signed up Jason Derulo, the TikTok star. So you would discover that Best Buy is also available on what you thought was just a grocery app.
It's like he did a song collab with Nicki Minaj, but instead it's with a tech company to reveal new tech features.
Jason Derulo put up his top 10 best Father's Day tech gadgets list, all curated by the TikToker himself.
Dad, congratulations, you're getting a dongle.
And then last week, Instacart signed up Lizzo so that you would discover new recipes and discover a little something else too.
For example, Jack, am I smelling something? Is that Lizzo's peach cobbler? I'm sorry, cherry cobbler.
Lizzo's cherry cobbler. Now, with one click, The whole recipe and all the ingredients you need are in your Instacart shopping cart ready to go.
Here's the thing, Yetis. She didn't just buy the juice, and she isn't just putting out a recipe for her cherry cobbler.
Lizzo also tossed some flowers to treat herself and an iPhone charger, because we always lose those things, into her Instacart shopping cart.
Okay, so now if you're following Lizzo, you're aware that you can get her cherry cobbler recipe, and you can buy an iPhone charger and flowers on Instacart.
With one click, you can buy it all. Instacart does a bunch of things.
Yeah, boom. Lizzo just helped you discover a grocery app is also your local florist and your local Apple store.
And your local cherry store. Cherry cobbler specifically.
In a minute, I'm gonna need a sentimental man or woman to bring me a dongle. So Jack wants the takeaway for our buddies over at Instacart.
The goal of great advertising is for you to think less.
Yetis, you know why this is just a great partnership? Because it makes you think less.
Thinking is hard. It takes effort. And if you think too much, you might not buy the thing.
Well, Lizzo has a good as hell huge fan base. 30 million people listen monthly to Lizzo on Spotify.
And now those 30 million people can indulge in their favorite artist's favorite cherry cobbler with one click and no thinking.
Now, if this were a TV ad for Instacart, Lizzo wouldn't list all the cherry cobbler ingredients because you wouldn't remember them from a TV ad.
It wouldn't be practical.
But on Instacart, you can order your hero's favorite dessert recipe with one click. You don't do any thinking.
Instacart figured out how to make you think less.
And when you think less, you order more.
You order more.
Jack, can you whip up the takeaways for us for the new Friday?
Apple Watch can save your life in like 8 different ways.
Because Apple's focused on real life, not virtual reality.
For our second story, quiet quitting, it's a major issue. Actually, not really.
Yeah, it's just a new term to describe an old thing. It's coasting.
And our third and final story, Instacart is hiring celebs to demonstrate that it does more than standard grocery delivery.
And it's hiring celebs so you don't have to think
before buying. You buy more.
Now, time for the best fact yet. This one sent in by Josh Harwitz from lovely Lawrence, New York.
When you see a flamingo out there in the wild or at a zoo, you're going to notice 2 things about that flamingo.
First thing you notice, very nice shade of pink. It's really a lovely pink color.
Then you're going to notice, is that thing standing on just one leg?
Why are they doing that? Are they trying to show off? What are you doing, Flamingo?
No, it's actually something called thermoregulation.
Yeah, flamingos curl a leg under their body to keep their feet warm and also to conserve energy.
Yes, flamingos live in a warm climate, but yes, they need to regulate their body's temperature.
And they got to avoid that muscular fatigue. Like when you sit down and you cross your legs. It's better.
It feels good. It's a nice stretch. Now, Nick, what's a pack of flamingos called?
A pink plethora. It's called a pink plethora.
It's called a flamboyance of flamingos.
Oh, it's called a flamboyance.
It's called a flamboyance.
Ducks fly together, flamingos fly together.
Flamingos fly flamboyant.
Yetis, you look fantastic today. And if you're liking the pod, if you're loving the pod, if you're feeling good to be back with us, drop down and give us a 5-star review. We'll take it.
We are this close to 6,000 reviews on Spotify.
We are this close to 10,000 reviews on Apple.
Think less, buy more, and rate our pod.
We'll see you tomorrow. And before we go, a shout out to LaShawn Moo and the Owl Labs team, who are all an entire company of Yetis.
It's called a flamboyance of Yetis.
Exactly. And a happy birthday to Josh Halpern, turning 36 down in Denver.
Happy birthday to Daisy Elliott in Signal Mountain.
And Alvin Basilio, it's a birthday, and he's on a treadmill right now in Las Vegas.
Don't trip.
And Mitch Natinga, happy birthday in Hull, Iowa.
And happy birthday to Claire Almala.
And Anderson Frolich, enjoy the birthday over in Luxembourg.
And happy belated Brazilian Independence Day to all the Brazilian Yetis and besties. And to anyone else celebrating something today, make it a T-boy.
Celebrate the wins.
This is Jack. Nick and I both own stock of Apple, Spotify, and Robinhood. Now, a word about our sponsor, Robinhood.
Okay, so Jack and I both worked in finance for a while.
And we know the 6-monitor Bloomberg jockey with charts, numbers, balances, and more charts.
They got coffees in both hands while they're executing some complex trade on a soybean future.
Well, we're not trying to impress with our mission control trading center. Just give us an app, please.
Robinhood, with its mobile-first and intuitive design, it lets you trade with just a few quick taps on their app.
And even if things still don't seem easy, Robinhood has your back 24/7 with its live and robust customer support. support.
If you're not investing on Robinhood yet, to get started, go to Robinhood.com/Tboy and choose your free stock.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY. Limitations apply.
Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. All investments involve risk.
By the way, this podcast is not owned by or part of Robinhood, and we are not employees of Robinhood.